Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the 2024 edition of the Big Rapids City Commission. We'll call the meeting to order. The roll call, please.
Ackley?
Here.
Gunther?
Here.
James?
Here.
Johnson?
Here.
Simmons?
Here.
Yes, could we all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. The agenda mark, any changes or additions? Anyone?
No changes, thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Approval of the minutes of the December 18th meeting. We received those from Tammy. Questions, additions? Anyone? We'll hear a motion for approval of the minutes of the 18th of December.
So moved.
Support.
Motion support. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
The same, motion carries. Today's a good day, a proclamation day under special orders. For 75 years, Curry's has been helping people mostly when they're in the ditch. Hey, Pat? Not that I've ever called them at 4 in the morning to get me out of the ditch, but
Can I speak?
no, not yet. You have to let me speak.
I just wanted to say there's a member in the audience who was one of my dad's first employees in the trucks.
Right there, I think.
Sure the hell
Did you
ain't-
know how to pull them out? Did you know how to pull them out, Bill?
Oh, yeah.
Very good. Well, thank you, family, for coming, Curry's family. We have a resolution. You want to do it in front? Pat and Matt? And
Sure.
And Penny?
Try not to take too many pictures, though.
We're taking pictures, lots of pictures. You could have worn your best out.
Thank you, Robert. Well, I just got out of work. It's his best time. Yeah, this is my best.
Can you get us?
Get, Mayor in the middle, maybe, or
No,
not.
I'm good, I'm good. Suck it in.
Oh, we're missing one.
Oh, here's Adam. Come in. Come on, Adam, before the pictures.
I did that on purpose. This way I look really tall.
There you go.
Family, in appreciation of the recognition of their continuous 75 years of service to the community of Big Rapids, whereas Curry's was first established in 1948 in Big Rapids under the ownership of Richard Curry, located on State Street. And then they moved over to Maple Street in 1978. Whereas the Curry family has managed the gas station and convenience store and has continued to work to serve the community for over 75 years. And Curry's motto is, in a hurry.
Call it Curry, yeah.
Thank you, very good.
The old one.
What's the new one?
The old one was the station on the corner, did business on the square.
There's one I never
Now,
heard.
we moved across the river and then, well, we just, was blessed. So when-
Curry's is recognized for their full service and self-service gas station, their dependable towing service that is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Now therefore, in recognition and celebration of 75 years of providing a continuous and valuable service to the Big Rapids community and being an anchor business in the downtown business district, the City Commission of the City of Big Rapids wishes to extend a congratulations to Pat Curry and his family for the excellent service they have dedicated to the citizens of Big Rapids.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Now you speak.
Oh, now I can speak? No,
Yeah, now you can speak.
We've been happy to be part of Big Rapids. I know we're going through some troubling times right now, but I just hope and pray that unity comes back, and I know you guys are doing what you can do on your part, and I've just been blessed. I want to thank the City of Big Rapids for putting the new lights up Baldwin Street. Oh, no, not that yet. No, I just want to thank you. That's enough. All right, thanks, Mark. You're doing a great job, Commission. Appreciate it.
Mr. Mayor,
Sir,
time for a quick story about,
sure, we have time.
okay,
There's a football game today,
I
though.
was
so-
saying, football game tonight.
February 3rd, 1963, was snowing, blowing. Curry's had a two-wheel drive wrecker. Why they did that, I don't know, but that's all you could buy back then. Anyway, 6 o'clock at night, somebody said, go talk to Rich Curry, he needs somebody. I was living in a little apartment with my wife and, 10-month-old daughter, hadn't had a job to speak of that was really good. Anyway, I went down and Rich, I said, Mr. Curry, I understand you're looking for work. Get in the truck, come with me. So I said, okay. So we went out in the country, down this hill, slippery, icy. This car was stuck down there. Well, he was actually the other side over. So Rich Curry drove down the bottom of that hill and couldn't get back out. Wrecker was spinning and sliding around. He got a shovel out of the back and he was throwing dirt under the tires and it didn't work, and he just slammed the shovel against the wrecker, threw it out into the woods, and he said, go get that damn shovel, Bill. I got the shovel, and he hired me that night, so he's a great guy.
Well, thanks, Bill.
Not much has changed.
No.
Curry's, we got a lot of business, but feel free to walk out on us, we're good.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it. Like, once again, you guys have your job to do. We got ours. I gotta get
You
back
can
to
stay for the business if you want though, however.
Thanks. Linda, how are you? Good.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks.
You bet.
Rose?
We're gonna have three fairly short study sessions, is that right? The first one is on rules and procedures. There she is, Tammy Gillis, city clerk.
Okay, so we're gonna go over the rules of procedure. I only got one revision. So in my position paper, it's under 26B, changing the 5 minutes to 3 minutes. And then C, changing the 2 minutes to 3 minutes, so that's consistent, 3 minutes and 3 minutes. That is the only revision that I had. Unless anybody's got any other revisions, this will go for adoption on the 22nd.
Anyone,
Oh, yeah.
commissioners?
Thank you for making the changes in red,
Yeah, I like.
Any
that.
color
I like
is
that.
good.
works.
Any color is good, thank you.
Anybody, anyone? I think we pretty thoroughly did it last year too with some changes, so.
We did.
Is this gonna be your last procedures little ditty?
Yeah, I believe so.
Is it a sad day?
Happy day.
You look sad about it. Thank you, Tammy. Next, study session on Hemlock Park budget update. Carla.
Yes, I want to start out by saying what a good job the fundraising committee has done in getting these funds pledged for Hemlock Park. It's been excellent. It's made our life a little bit easier. So we're looking at a total here of funding sources of $1,869,522. It's made up of donated funds, we have some pledge funds that are still remaining, a DNR grant, a CDBG grant, and then a contribution from the general fund. And then we have our expenses, we have our bid award to Gerber Construction, should you pass it tonight. We have some engineering costs that are remaining from police. So as you can see, we do have a shortfall. So, once that bid goes through, we will be coming back to ask you for some money from the general fund. We have some projects in the general fund that we are not gonna be able to complete. We don't have all the necessary funding for it, so we do have some money there that we can put towards this project, so you'll see that happen. So, are there any questions about what you see in front of you?
Just clarification,
Sure.
and I know you're gonna come back with those,
Yes.
but what were the other, projects? I think one of them, we had some money tucked away for the embankment.
That's
erosion.
exactly.
Is that the main funding source for it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we budgeted $500,000 for the retaining wall project for this year, and as we're talking about later in the agenda, we, are committed to helping and supporting and working with the Housing Commission towards that, but this year, we don't foresee spending those dollars, so they're in the budget, available, for use, and, that's what Carla and I have targeted as a budget transfer, so.
I have no other questions.
Thank you. Others? Carla, what was the reason for the overrun, that, as far as you know?
Just project costs have gone up so much.
Yeah, Mayor, I would say, you know, we had one time budgeted this project, or proposed, thought it would be 1.8 million. You know, our bid was almost 2.1. So that is the main driver of the cost overrun, is,
There are some things that we can take out because city staff can perform some of it. But it's not a lot, but it'll help.
So it's the last two features, the playground and the splash pad. And, from what the community says, I think, they're very happy with the pickleball courts and the basketball courts and the tennis courts, and everything's gone well, except the splash pad's been a, problem. And I would like to thank Gerber Construction for finally putting in a bid. We have had a lot of, how many, Mark, bid runs?
well, that was the second.
Second.
Yeah. But we had no bids on the first
They
one.
no
right?
bids the first, so. They were pushed a little hard by some people in the room to really try to help the city complete the project, and they responded. So that's it.
It's a good,
They'll make,
good
probably make
community
a little
partner.
money on the deal, but we'll get the thing done.
That reminds me of a question I should have asked, but what were some of the things that we did to reduce the cost and get it a little bit?
It's removals, mostly, removals of the old playscape and, you know, benches, concrete. Help me, Heather, what I'm missing. It's removals for the very most part that we thought, well, shoot, we can do those as a cost savings measure.
And when would the shovels go in the ground?
Well, we
Well-
already started to take apart some playscape.
Okay.
We hope, now there's some long lead times, I think primarily, two items as I understand from Gerber, the ordering and purchasing of the playground equipment and some of the mechanical stuff for the splash pad, I think the pumps and so on, have some long lead times, but very much this spring, summer of 2024, we want to be working, and that's, Gerber wants the same thing, but we do have some long lead times on equipment.
So is the completion date August 1st? July 1st?
Completion date?
Okay.
That's a happy thing.
We hope so.
Happy
Okay.
thought.
We hope
Happy
so.
thought.
Ask for an extension.
Yeah, we hope so.
Okay, thank you.
Super. Any other questions for Carla regarding the funding and? What's happening with that? Anyone? Thank you. Thanks, Carla. The third item under, study session is not as pleasant. Michelle?
So we applied to the Census Bureau to see what the cost would be for an entire recount of the 2020 census, and the Bureau came back with a number of $490,000, which is a lot, way more than we were thinking it was gonna be. And so we reapplied to them to ask them what the cost would be. If you look on your paperwork, there's a map to just recount those areas. So that would pick up Ferris's campus and their housing, and then some of the large differences that we saw between the 2010 and the 2020 maps, and try to get those numbers counted towards, you know, our census amount. And we should hear back from them in a couple of weeks, so then we can make a determination if we wanna move forward. We are still struggling with the process of getting the money once we have the census count done with the state. So we'll just keep plugging away at that and hopefully can find a clear answer and path to what happens once we have a new count, before we have to make a decision.
I think it's important for the public to know, Mark, that we did get our yes from the, what's it called, barracks?
Group quarters?
Group quarters.
Yes.
They said, yes, you're right, we see that you should have 2,700 more people. Getting that data to the state of Michigan to get your revenue sharing has become a complete blockade. There is no way that data is good to the state. They need a census from either Census Bureau or the Secretary of State, who hasn't done a census in how many years, Mark? So we're in a real bind here. To spend $500,000 with a guess that you might win or get enough bodies counted to pay for at least that could be interesting. Ferris's enrollment is down, and if, I don't know if the dorm census in this little track is down enough to know, Lisa will help us, I'm sure, again.
Lisa gave
Cortez.
us a number and
Did
it was close to what it was.
Was it close?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so.
Questions for Michelle?
Have we heard back from MML? What do they, where are we at with?
MML, we met and we have another meeting scheduled for this month. I think it's later in the month, but, yeah, they have been and I think are willing to assist us in the legislative process of implementation or getting our money or maybe even changing the law. But none of it is, there's just so many question marks. I think it's really, really difficult to move forward. Now, it's not up to me, it's up to you folks. And we're still working. I mean, you haven't seen the whole picture, but we're probably bringing that maybe in the next 60 or 90 days. It just becomes very much an uphill climb, given the huge dollar amount to do the work. Almost $500,000 with a lot of question marks about whether or not it would work, be successful, whether or not you would get the money if it did work. I think we're pessimistic at a staff level at this moment in time. No, I
I
mean,
don't believe, Mark, there's another city in Michigan who has a university that's even thinking about doing what we're doing.
Not that we're
So there's
aware of.
gotta be a reason, you
Yeah.
know? Gotta be Kalamazoo must be looking at it, it's gotta be Houghton, it's gotta be Lake State. I mean, they were all gone when the census went, I'm sure they were on break too. So there's,
Without looking at the numbers, trying to exhaust all resources, I know, and I appreciate staff's help for sure. I read an article actually in the Pioneer from the AP about what 10 Midwest states, I think, in the past couple of years have tried to go through what we're going through. And one of the things they said in the article is that the cities did their own census. And I wouldn't even know how to begin doing that. I
have no idea how
But-
to do
I
it.
didn't know what that meant.
I
really.
didn't
Tell
know
you
what
the
that
truth.
meant, so I shared it with city staff and kind of said, I'll make phone calls if you want,
The
but I don't
commissioners
wanna
have to, I
mess
think
you
the
up.
commissioners have to go door to door.
Well, that would be cheaper. I think the statute precludes it, because the statute said it has to be by the US Census Bureau or the Secretary of State.
For that money part.
We have the money.
Oh, for the money part, okay. Interesting, and again, I appreciate all the work that you're doing, both of you.
we're running out of opportunities, but
When is the final date, Michelle, that you have to request your recensus by? It's coming up also, isn't it?
I think they're,
The Census Bureau allows it until 2027.
27.
So we have some time, but the decision on the full census, we have to let them know by March 19th.
Thank you. That's good news. Public comment. Bill, we're gonna call on you during public comments, I know why you're here. Please, Bill Rowley, who is our county commissioner and also on the Central Dispatch Board.
Correct. I appreciate you, reappointing me or approving, recommending to the county, they reappoint me to that. Take it that it's because you wanted me, not because nobody else stepped forward, so thank you for that confidence. I didn't realize when I took it on the first time a number of years back, what a big job it is and what, the enormous task they have at Central Dispatch. Just to keep equipment operating, to keep updated with technology, and as you listen to the number of, goodness, has gone from, I don't even know gigahertz talk, but it's gone from 800 band to back and forth, and everybody trying to, they had 4, 5, 6 different communication links, and try and communicate all that, and to try and keep towers coordinated, so everybody in the two-county area could have good coverage, and they still have one area where they don't. But, anyhow, our budget last year, we just finished up, of course, we had January, February, March payoffs like you do for last year to finish that up, but, our budget for 2023 was $1,970,000. We actually spent $1,835,140, so that left us with, in the green, about $135,000. The year I went on board there, Paul Bullock, at the time, we were talking about doing some things, and he was attending a meeting. He said, let me just run some numbers for you. Basically, Central Dispatch was about $250,000 in the red. He said, if you had to do payout, he said, you'd be in big trouble. So, we've been careful with what we do, but also we're very fortunate. The Central Dispatch millage went up a little bit, so that has helped us to the point where we have probably about $400,000 in the green, which is kind of healthy. Not if maybe the equipment goes wrong, then it isn't. But anyway, it's doing well. We went through a year of having trouble keeping since the pandemic shut down since 2020. It's been difficult getting people to come and to stay, and it's a demanding job for those Central Dispatch people. If you've ever been worked emergency, you know the stuff they deal with, and the last few years, the tragedies that have happened in our county has been horrendous, and they take a big toll on that. So we've been down in numbers. The people that are there are great workers. Pick up the extra, so that gives you $250,000, $300,000 in overtime pay because you have to staff that. But Megan told us this morning in the meeting, we have 12 fully certified. We have 2 more that are close to being finishing their training, so we will be at 14 shortly, so which is a good staff number for us. So things are going well, and have any questions?
Thank you, and thank all those folks
You're welcome.
for doing what they do.
Yep, they're tremendous. They, some resolutions or some appreciation sent up there for them to put on the wall, would be a good thing. They do a tremendous amount of work.
Very good, thank you.
And I'm
Bill, how do you bill Osceola versus McCoster? How does that work? Do they go by number of calls, or?
No, it's a 2-county millage, so when that millage votes, they pay the same as
Okay,
we do.
I see.
Yeah, there's only one area in the northeastern part of the Osceola County. They have a kind of a dead spot sometimes. They have another radio. I don't know all that radio stuff, but somehow they have another system that they're able to get through with to the local. But Central Dispatch, we spent thousands of dollars trying to figure that out, and it's a task. It's it only, if you could troubleshoot it when it doesn't work, it'd be a lot easier, but it's kind of like a car that has a random misfire. They're not there when it's random. Same there, so they have their challenge, but Jack Bowden, the assistant director, has been there quite a few years, and he's really Megan's right-hand guy and does a super job, so.
Good. Thank them for us. And Tammy, maybe we could come up with something thanking them for the good work they did on a resolution. You think?
I'll probably go home in time for the kickoff.
Oh. Very good. Thank you. Any other comments from the public? Hearing none, we'll move on. There's no public hearing today. First off, the resolution adopting the meeting schedule. You should have all gotten that, a couple weeks ago from Tammy. Any comments or questions about the schedule? No. Hearing none, is there a motion for the resolution adopting the schedule?
So moved.
Support.
Motion and support. Questions? Hearing none. Tammy?
Heffley?
Yes.
Gunther,
Yes.
James,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes. Yes.
Next is the policy adopting the guidelines for poverty exemption from property taxes. We do this every year by law. Is there a motion for that resolution?
So moved. Second.
Motion seconded. Mark, anything specific there?
Nothing, Mayor.
Just follow
No,
guidelines.
you've got it right.
Anything anyone has to say? Tammy?
James,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Kevin,
Yes.
Kathleen,
Yes.
Yes. Next is, my favorite resolution to adopt, accept a bid to put a fire detection system in City Hall.
I'll start this one,
Please
Mayor.
do, Mark.
And, I appreciate our fire marshal, Jeff Hall, being here, and Luke was a former fireman too, so he might chime in. So I will, start by saying we have determined that City Hall is not up to code with its fire system. I think that's a combination of two things, but I am no fire code expert. I think one, things have changed in City Hall. Walls have been put up, offices have been made, that are different than the way the building was designed over 20 years ago. I'm assuming, that codes have changed. I don't know how dramatically, but, I think that must be something that's happened as well. We found out this through some fire drill activities when people didn't know the fire drill was happening. You couldn't hear it in all locations within the building. That triggered a more rigorous review, which we have gotten, and the proposal that you have in your packet. Now, we budgeted, this was a CIP from last year, we budgeted $35,000. Our one and only bid, I thought we had multiple bids, but it sounded like there was people interested, but didn't necessarily submit final numbers. But we have a bid of 43 from Topline, who is a good company. We work with them frequently, comfortable working with them and believe in their capabilities. As I look through these diagrams, I see a lot of smoke detectors, if I can read this tiny little legend. But I think there's strobes, there's noise, I don't know if noisemakers is the technical term, but it's an overhaul to get us up to code, to make safety a priority within the building. I do believe it's important, if we're out there trying to enforce codes, that we live up to them ourselves. So that's where we're at, Mayor. I'm happy to answer any questions. Again, Jeff probably is the best one to answer most of them in terms of technical issues, but that's where we find ourselves.
Did you look at the plans, Jeff?
Yeah, I actually helped Eric a little bit on those.
We good, and are they wonderful?
What was submitted was a little hard to interpret the code because you have to look at a lot of different numbers, different sections of the code. But the code kind of says that you need to plan on the future. So when you look at a alarm system, you gotta kind of look into the future. Maybe some walls are changed, then you're already at that point. You'll have to come back in and redo it again. So with this, we went through it pretty extensively. I feel that this is a good plan that's going to be good for this entire building.
Thank you. Heather, anything?
Mayor, I have a question. Mr. Gifford just said that there was 35,000 budgeted and we're spending 43. What are we doing there, guys?
Transfer.
Shouldn't that be showing on here?
Is that another thing you intended to
It would
bring
be
back, Carla?
It's an internal transfer.
You're just gonna do it?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, an internal
we did
transfer.
an internal transfer from.
Okay, but from now on, you really should reflect it
In the resolution?
somehow. Yes, in the paperwork, especially in the resolution. Cause this looks like that you're spending the 43,000 out of that number and you sat there and said there was only 35.
And we have done an internal transfer, is it's,
Have you already done it, Heather?
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Yeah,
but no, we need to be more clear. We'll do that.
Well-
And we're transferring from within the budget, because we listen.
Yes, that's good. That's good. We like to see that.
In the future, Lorraine, should it still be on, because I questioned that.
I think personally, it still should be on there. It's clarity, it makes it clear, it showed where the money went, or came from, where it went to. Back in the day, we used to do that. Doesn't mean it's the right thing to do, but it just for clarity purposes. If you're asking me personally, I would prefer it on there.
Fair enough.
And it's just a line that
support
says we
that.
transferred it from this to that. If that's okay.
It's a different commission now that.
Yes, that's good. We're,
Hey, I watch the pennies and the dollars.
we like that.
But most important, I can understand most of them.
Do we have a motion from the fire
Well,
detectives? Excuse me, go ahead.
So, as I did ask for a copy of the bid just to see, because we only have one bidder. So, there really wasn't a scope of work that was prepared. There was no write-up for it. There were no drawings issued with it. If I'm a contractor that's looking at a project to fund, it, even just a simple scope of work and some drawings or something would let me know, because a lot of them are going through email, whether I want to bid on it or not. And I know we've had a lot of projects lately that are only getting one bidder or no bidder. So I would just recommend that we try to get a little bit more information put out in the package, as opposed to just trying to do everything at a meeting. That's not saying what was done here was incorrect. I'm just making a recommendation for the future that could apply to other
So
bids that we put out.
for this specific bid, I believe Eric put in there that there was a mandatory walkthrough through the facility. Because he wasn't gonna accept any bids from any contractor unless they did that and they scheduled it with him for that clarification. Which is pretty unique in comparison to the other bids that we've gone out with. So I believe that was his intent.
Okay. Like I said, all I had was the document, so
Sure.
merely a suggestion.
It kinda did appear, didn't it, out of thin air?
The project?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm not talking about the project, I'm just,
Did you get a complaint, Mark, is that one of the motivators? Did
Think
the fire department or somebody?
staff, and I didn't myself receive a complaint, Mayor.
I just think
you said
that-
they did a drill.
Yeah.
We
When
did
they
a drill.
couldn't hear it, then they thought maybe we
Luca
should.
takes facilities management very seriously,
Yeah.
and so when he heard that, he reached out to Jeff and they had a conversation about facilities. And then it just segued into the code discussion.
Thank you. Others? Is there a motion?
So moved.
Support.
Motion support for the fire detection system. Tammy?
Johnson?
Yes.
Dennis?
Yes.
Epley?
Yes.
Gunther?
Yes.
James?
Yes.
Next is the resolution awarding the bid for the Hemlock Park project. It's been, several years, we've been fiddling. Finally, if we can get this done, it'd be really good to get it off for the kids and for all others. So, who's it? Heather, is this your project probably, right? Anything you wanna add?
I definitely agree with you. This has been going on for quite some time. We started talking about this project in
Jeez, really? Questions, anyone? And I believe, Heather, that Gerber was able to secure the pump, people that are the most known in the state of Michigan, Vortex or something.
Vortex, yeah, that
They're the
was-
foremost
Yep,
splash pad people.
which is what Mr. Gifford was talking about with the lead time, so. Because it's very specific, they gotta get from those manufacturers.
So they'll order tomorrow when you tell them the bid's accepted, right?
They will order when we have grant contracts in agreement, and we know that we have the appropriate funding.
Gotcha. Questions, anyone else?
I have a question. Remember how we were talking today and you said that this is just awarding the bid? So is that all that this is doing? You know how we talked about the
Yes.
money and the transfer and all that kind of stuff? Okay,
Yeah, you're gonna see a budget transfer sometime in the future, Carla, is that? I'm assuming you have a number of them, as you usually do, bring back, and this will be one of them.
okay.
Other questions? Public, anything? No further questions? We have a motion for awarding that bid.
So moved. Support.
Thank you. Tammy?
Seven,
Yes.
Eckley,
Yes.
Gunther,
Yes.
James,
Yes,
Johnson.
Yes.
Next, we'll go to Michelle and her skate park. A resolution accepting the DNR passport grant for the Sweet Hill Skate Park, Michelle.
This is, the grant we received from the DNR for the passport grant for the funding to do the skate park. This is the agreement between the DNR and us so that we can start moving forward on that project.
How much was that grant?
150 is the grant, the total project's the two, yeah, we got 150. That's the maximum amount you can get in the passport program, so.
Very good. Questions? This again has been on the table a
Oh,
long time.
yeah, it's sort of hard to believe we're checking the boxes on these projects that have been talked about for decades. It's pretty awesome, pretty exciting.
Any questions? Is there a motion for the skate park acceptance of the DNR grant?
So moved.
support.
Motion and support. Any questions? Tammy?
Eckley,
Yes.
Gunther,
Yes.
James,
Yes,
Johnson,
Yes.
Simmons.
Yes.
Next, we have to have a resolution to accept a proposal for engineering the skate park from Fleece. Mark, anything special there?
No, Fleece, we have a design that's, based on our grant application. It's put together by people who specialize in designing skate parks. We need Fleece to bridge the gap between a contractor and the skate park company and the folks who pour the concrete and how, what the slope of it is, where the water goes, the thickness, the reinforcement, that kind of civil stuff. That's, we need Fleece's help, and they have a proposal to help us with it, so.
Any questions?
is this already set to budget, Carla?
Yes.
Okay, so the 12.2 is coming out of that line item, but you have a bigger line item there. The whole thing is set to budget? 250 or whatever?
I'd have to look, I'm not sure if the whole thing is, but the engineering is,
Okay.
yes.
Thank you.
Other questions? Did we do the,
I don't think so.
getting tired. There's a motion for the resolution for the engineering of the skate
So
park.
moved.
Support.
Tammy?
James,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Simmons,
Yes.
Eckley,
Yes.
Gunther.
Yes. The next two resolutions, if you ever get a chance, if Mark has another one of these Army Corps of Engineer meetings, let me know and I'll let you take my place.
It was fascinating.
Learned
a lot.
Oh.
Did you get any new
They don't wear-
abbreviations?
They don't wear uniforms either. They're all civil engineers from Purdue or Tech or whatever. They're not Army men.
Don't know.
And boring. But it's needed, and that's what's important, right, Lorraine?
Absolutely.
I think.
However, I will tell you, when I asked my husband if he knew what this was when this first appeared, he knew all about it
Oh, he
because
did?
his dad was in that.
Really?
Yes, he was.
If
So
you-
back in the day, they were army men that they used to do projects, and that's what they called
If
them.
you Google it now, which I did because I didn't understand, because nobody had a uniform.
Well, I didn't understand it either.
It's
so-
like 90% of the people are civil. They're not military. But all the money funded through the federal government through the military. And it was interesting, but the amount of work Michelle's gonna do with paperwork alone might require her to get an assistant. I mean, there's 85 different agencies and, oh, yes, Miss Miller's helping us with that. Right, Linda?
I just keep asking the questions, like, what are all these acronyms?
You have no idea when they get done saying
What
something, you think,
section is
what the heck
this?"
are they talking about?
There's a lot of abbreviations.
There's a lot of faith in this, I think. You have to have faith that the Army Corps of Engineers is legit and wonderful, because you can't learn it
It's a
all.
government entity, of course it
Have
is,
faith.
just like us.
So Mark, this first one, what is it, the first one?
I would lean on Michelle to inform us. There, my 10,000-foot view is there's two programs that the Army Corps is recommending that we apply to get started. One of which is available right now, which can fund a smaller amount, and that'll get us going towards design and study, feasibility study of our problem embankment. And then we would transition into a further program, which I think is the second one. Is that right, Michelle? The
The PAS, or.
Don't use those letters.
The Planning Assistance to States Program, also known as Section 22.
Oh, yeah, next to 21, right?
And PAS, is the one we would start with. That has funding available right now. And, the request would be for them to start, they can start working on the feasibility of doing the wall and the project. With that process, they also have a waiver available for us that would be applying to with this letter to take the funding completely off the city for the feasibility under this program because of it being in a low-income neighborhood or census tract. And so that would move the funding to the Army Corps. Be all federally funded for the feasibility,
Not for the HUD part,
not for the HUD.
which would qualify maybe also.
Maybe. Last time I talked to them on the section 14 part, they said that was still in review. They couldn't tell you if they would fully fund it until they did the feasibility.
Okay. There's a chance for that to be fully funded by the Fed.
That's how you understood it, June.
Any questions for Michelle regarding the first resolution?
I'm not saying a word.
For the PAS program,
The PAS.
set up to 100,000 toward the study, right?
That's the 100,000, and then normally it would be, then it would go to, we would be responsible for it, but with this waiver that we're requesting, it's all federal funded. So it's a request to do the project plus a request to do the waiver, all in one letter.
And do I hear a motion for that?
So moved.
Support.
Motion, support, questions? Tammy?
Johnson,
Yes.
Hickman,
Yes.
Heffley,
Yes.
Gunther,
Yes.
James.
Yes.
Now, is the Housing Commission doing this same resolution? Do you have to join us on this one? Not at all. So.
We don't have to
what-
join you on either one, I don't.
Neither one of these.
you
When
talk
does the
about HUD, you're
agreement
getting
come
at
where we
that.
sit and talk about whatever's not, that'll be a year, 2, 3 years from now, cause they say that about who's gonna pay for what? And they say that this will take years to do the feasibility study,
Feasibility, probably a year to 2.
to do the feasible part. And then there'll be the,
Free.
you like the free part?
Well, I mean, I said I wasn't gonna say anything, but I do wanna clarify what the mayor is talking about is whether or not, cause the Housing Commission is federally funded. So the question is, can we use our federal funding for part of the non-federal match? And the answer is maybe, which is what the mayor's getting at. But I do wanna be clear that we do only get a certain amount of federal money every year, and at this point, none of us have any idea how much it's gonna cost. So
It could all end.
say free, I say, I don't know that I'm gonna have enough money to pay for the whole thing. So I just wanna be clear
Gotcha.
about that. But we definitely have money that we want to pay towards it if they will allow us to use our federal funds. Does that sound right, Michelle? Thank you. John,
We have no idea what it's gonna cost anyway. It could be 50
Right.
million or 10 million or.
I just don't want you to come back and say, oh, you're gonna use your federal funds, and I'm gonna say, yeah, but there's not enough there to pay for it potentially, depending on what
Got it.
we find out. So,
Do we have that motion already? Is there a motion for the first part of the Corps of Engineers, PAS?
so moved.
We did that one.
we did that one already.
That's why I was looking at
Did we?
Tammy, cause
Did
I
we vote,
wasn't
Tammy?
sure.
She told me no,
Yeah,
she
we're-
signals me when I'm not doing it right.
I don't have anything on here.
For the first one, we did, I believe,
The first one
Karen
we got.
First one we got.
said it
Did we
and
vote on
John
it?
seconded it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're talking about the second one,
Do I hear a
section
motion for
four.
the second one?
Yeah.
So moved.
Support.
Questions, Tammy?
Simmons,
Yes.
Epley,
Yes.
Gunther,
Yes.
James,
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Next is the resolution amending the community development schedule fees. Mark?
You have a new updated, recommendation for fees for Michelle's department, some of which is a cause of our new software for processing applications, which, creates a processing fee, for lack of a better word. So that is, some of these increases, and some of which I think, Michelle has looked at them, compared them to other places, and, thinks that we're a little bit low on them. So that
I would say we're still low compared to a lot of places, but you get to a point where you wanna make it easy for people in the community to be able to afford, cause you'd rather have them get their permits than not. And so trying to keep that balance and keeping it affordable.
Questions?
I was a little confused. Is it the upgrade to the system allows for applications to be filed directly into the system? Is that different than how you currently do it?
It is, so right now they come in through Seamless Docs, which is a separate program that is not super user-friendly to anyone. So now people will be able to apply in person if they want to still, but if they want to apply online, they can apply through BSNA, and then type their address, similar to how they would do their utility bills, and then they can go to their property and apply to different procedures in our department, and it will move it right into our database, and then staff will get an alert that someone's applied, and then we can respond and review, and so it's all coming directly into our computer system.
And you're passing along that cost from the computer upgrade? Okay.
So do they pay at that time too, or do they wait to hear back from staff once you receive it?
We have it set up that we get to review the documents before they pay, so that, I think for everything except for a zoning permit, cause those are typically fine. But everything that they would, like anything that goes to a board meeting, we get to review before they pay, so that we can make sure all the information's there and that they're applying for what they need to be applying for.
So when they go online and they do the whole process, they do it, but they don't pay. Staff reviews it and then,
And then we would hit okay, and then it would send them an invoice.
okay. So just out of curiosity, do we give out a lot of chicken permits?
I love eggs.
I missed that one in here.
Say a couple of years.
Couple of years.
A couple a year?
Yeah.
So they don't have to do it on an annual basis, they just have to do it the first time they want chickens?
Unless they have a crowing rooster, then they're in trouble. Which we've had that.
Ask Tim about that. You can ask Tim.
So you get an appointment with me.
And I'm assuming that there's regulations that happen when all that was done, like they can't just fly all over the place, right?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
there's
we
a whole.
updated the
Jeez,
ordinance.
Lorraine. You think we're rookies here?
Uh-huh, you are.
I'm insulted.
Move forward.
All right, did we do the motion yet for the schedule thing? Do we have one?
So moved.
Support, anyone? Second, excuse me.
Second.
Questions?
Epley,
Yes.
Gunther,
James?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Yes.
Unscheduled business for the good of the group.
I have something, Mayor.
Shoot.
I believe it was the last meeting that we voted to accept some sort of funding from MDOT to add the decorative light fixtures on the bridge. I might have gotten all of that wrong, except for the part about more light fixtures.
No.
Flower
Flower
pots.
pots.
They weren't light fixtures.
Okay, for,
Flower pot.
We're still working in lights.
okay.
Right away.
Yeah, they
All
have lights, they're not too attractive, but there's the
So I got
lights. that-
all of it wrong except for
We're on
one
the
thing,
right.
which was the bridge. It was just the
Yeah,
bridge.
the
That's all I got
bridge.
right. It was a bridge.
The bridge, yeah. That's part of our MDOT annual permit we submitted to put
Gotcha.
flower pots mounted on the bridge this year.
All right.
So,
Well, I'll do better next
How
time.
are the brackets coming from Dave? Are they coming along, Heather?
Oh, is he the one doing the bracket?
I think, yeah, Dave Hamlin has designed a system in which they mount to the concrete abutments. I'm assuming they're under construction. I haven't heard lately, but Dave spends a lot of time on this kind of stuff, and he checks with us. It's very fun. He's a great member of the community, and we're lucky to have him. And he's done brackets for flower pots. He's done countless little quirky things. So I'm sure it'll be built that we could all stand on them if we wanted. I'm guessing that's the way it will work.
Rosemary, are you doing the flowers in those pots? We had a brief meeting with people who bought the depot. I have to bring this up, Mark won't enjoy it, but they really would like to see all our lights and banners go all the way up to the depot and all the way up Baldwin Street up to the corner. Just so you know, that was something they thought was very important, and I said, oh, we've never heard anything like that before. So, we're gonna work on the city manager hard on this one.
That's a good project. It would have a number of commas that go along with it, I'm sure of that. But we'd love to do it. Staff has talked about that for years, and we need to make it a priority.
We gotta get that grant writer to find us a grant to
Yeah.
do all that. Right, Michelle?
I'll start her looking.
Just a common request that I'm sure all the commissioners have heard from East Siders.
We just
Weren't you
heard it
part of that,
tonight,
Ms. James?
Part of, well, yes. You know about the lights?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
Just wondered.
yes.
Anybody else have business for the good of the group?
Just a reminder, Mayor, we are closed next Monday.
Who is?
The City Hall. City Hall is closed for Martin Luther King Day.
That seems early.
I know yeah,
Real early, 15th.
and comes quick, right? And that is why we have our meeting on the 22nd, which we talked about. So 2 weeks from tonight, which is the fourth Monday. But just a reminder.
Is garbage moved or the same?
There's a good question.
Check it out,
We will get to the
Maureen.
bottom
The
of
coach
that.
should know that right away. He knows the garbage schedule.
I mean, some holidays they,
Yeah, and,
some
honor and
holidays
some
like
they
that,
Some they
Yeah.
don't.
they pick it up and some they don't.
We will get the word out on that.
Well, word it my way too, cause I
Yes,
don't
will do.
necessarily see that other stuff.
Steve, word it my way too, would you?
Yeah, so we're gonna have garbage on MLK Junior Day, garbage and recycling.
We are.
On Monday,
Yes.
okay.
Interesting. Others for the good of the group?
Just in time.
Hurry home, Brad.
I think I'm gonna make it.
Yeah, it's got double, man.
something with baseball where you can listen to it in the car?